You ever notice how certain ideas don't hit you all at once, but kind of drift in like a slow-moving weather front? Reciprocity is one of those ideas, not the fancy academic version, just the simple human expectation that when you give something, someone might eventually give something back. That's all reciprocity ever was. And for most of human history, it worked. People depended on each other, communities needed balance. If you took too much and contributed nothing, someone would politely suggest you stop, or find a less polite method. But today, you can endlessly. Oh, damn it. All right. But today, you can take endlessly. You can receive attention, sympathy, favors, rides, emotional support, and never return any of it. And nothing bad happens. There's no exile, no village meeting, not even a stern look from a grandmother. The world just shrugs. And because there's no consequences, a lot of people quietly slide into the habit of accepting everything and offering very little in return. That's how reciprocity collapse begins. Not with a dramatic explosion, more like a slow leak in the ceiling. You barely notice it until you're standing in water. You start to see little signs. You're always the one reaching out first. You ask someone how they're doing, and they answer in short sentence, before pivoting the spotlight right back onto themselves. You help them move, listen to them vent, drive across town because they're having a tough week, and they repay you with a heart emoji. Sometimes not even a good heart, the cheap-looking one that feels like it was picked by accident. You bring effort, they bring vibes, and after a while, even the vibes start showing up late. What makes this weirder is that people doing the least often think they're doing the most. They'll tell you how caring they are, how loyal, how emotionally deep, but when the moment comes to actually show it, their effort evaporates, like they're powered by solar panels and someone turned off the sun. None of this is personal, though. That's the surprising part. It's structural. Modern life makes reciprocity optional. People now have endless options. If one relationship feels like work, they replace it with a new one from their phone. If someone asks them to reciprocate, they label it pressure. If someone asks for consistency, that's emotional labor. If someone expects basic decency, that's toxic energy. The bar is so low, it's not even a bar anymore. It hits more like a piece of lint. Technology plays a role too. You can ghost someone today with no consequences at all. No awkward interactions at the store, no bumping into them at church or work. You don't even have to lie about why you disappeared. The internet does the ghosting for you. It's like having a personal assistant whose only job is to avoid accountability. Then there's the emotional laziness of a lot of people didn't grow up learning. Then there's the emotional laziness. A lot of people didn't grow up. Laziness. A lot of people didn't grow up. Damn it. Then there's the emotional laziness. A lot of people didn't grow up learning how to maintain relationships. Someone else always handled the hard parts for them. Parents, friends, partners. There was always someone picking up their slack. So as adults, they treat relationships like automated services. Push a button, receive affection. Push another button, receive emotional reassurance. If the reassurance doesn't arrive instantly, they assume the machine is broken. And there are people, and we say this gently, who simply don't have the reciprocity instinct at all. It's not malicious, it's not intentional, they just never developed that internal switch. That says, I should probably give something back. They're perfectly nice in their own way, as long as you don't expect actual effort. The moment you stop giving, though, you start to notice the truth, because when reciprocity collapses, there's a moment of confusion. You wonder if you did something wrong. Maybe you worded something the wrong way. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe you need to try harder. Trying harder is usually the second stage. You give more, you explain your deeds, you clarify expectations, you phrase things politely, hoping they'll understand. They don't. What usually follows is the slow dawning realization that this person is simply incapable of meeting you where you are. And that realization, strangely enough, is incredibly peaceful. Because once you accept that someone cannot reciprocate, you stop waiting, you stop straining, you stop sending paragraphs to someone who responds with LOL. You stop watering a plant that has no intention of photosynthesizing. At that point, something shifts. You're not angry, you're not hurt, you're just done. Not in a dramatic way, more like a quiet moment when you realize the TV remote is broken and you stop pressing the button. People imagine that letting go requires a confrontation. It doesn't. You drift away like easing backward from a conversation that ran out of oxygen a long time ago. You let the one-sided relationship fade with the same softness you'd use to lower a sleeping child into bed. And the relationships that survive are the ones that didn't rely on you doing all the work. A funny thing happens once you start matching effort instead of emotion. You begin to see who was truly there all along. The people who ask about your life, the ones who offer help without being prompted, the ones who listen, the ones who follow up, the ones who give without being reminded. They're rare, but they exist, and it's shocking how obvious they become once you stop chasing people who never intended to meet you halfway. The moment you pull up energy out of one-sided dynamic, your peace skyrockets. You're not drained, you're not guessing, you're not waiting. Your mind stops spinning scenarios and finally settles. You feel lighter, clearer, more grounded because you've stopped pouring emotional resources into people who treat your effort like tap water. Always available, always free, always flowing. You feel lighter, clear, more grounded because you stop pouring emotional resources into people who treat your effort like tap water. Always available, always free, always flowing. Reciprocity collapse isn't just about relationships, though. It shows up in families, workplaces, friendships, even casual interactions. Anywhere someone is allowed to receive endlessly without giving back, the collapse spreads like slow-moving mold. But here's the thing. Once you understand how it works, you stop taking it personally. You recognize the pattern you see, the behaviors coming from a mile away. You stop expecting balanced exchanges from unbalanced people. You stop having emotional conversations with people who only listen for their turn to speak. You stop trying to fix adults. You stop trying to fix adults who have no desire to stop. But here's the thing. Once you understand how it works, you stop taking it personally. You recognize the pattern. You see the behaviors coming from a mile away. You stop expecting balanced exchanges from unbalanced people. You stop having emotional conversations with people who only listen for their turn to speak. You stop trying to fix adults who have no desire to develop. And you learn to value rare people who actually show up. There's something deeply freeing about realizing you don't have to convince anyone to treat you well. You don't have to argue for reciprocity. You don't have to demand better effort from someone who's giving you the best they can, which unfortunately might be very little. Matching energy isn't pretty. It's alignment, it's emotional budgeting, it's protecting your bandwidth from being drained by people who confuse being close with being convenient. And when you finally let go of expecting more from people who give less, you step into a kind of calm that's hard to describe, except to say you've stopped swimming upstream. You're still open, you're still kind, you're still willing to connect, but you're no longer volunteering to be someone's emotional landfill. And that's the whole beauty of understanding reciprocity collapse. It's not about giving up on people, it's about giving up on the fantasy that effort alone can make relationships work. When reciprocity collapses, you don't collapse with it. You step back, you breathe, you return to yourself, and you realize You are carrying the relationship for longer than you realize. Letting go doesn't mean stop caring, it means stop carrying. And in that quiet space, the right people emerge. The ones who don't drain you, don't confuse you, don't disappear when things are inconvenient. The ones who naturally live in reciprocity without being reminded. Those are the connections worth keeping, and you'll recognize them instantly because being around them feels like relief. So as you move forward, just notice how your body feels when someone interacts with you. Does it feel heavy or does it feel light? Do you feel pulled on or do you feel met? Does your energy sink or does it settle? Your body knows the truth long before your mind wants to admit it. And if something feels one-sided, you don't have to diagnose it, repair it, argue with it, or carry it. You can simply step away calmly, peacefully, without bitterness, without ceremony. Just release the expectation that someone will match you when they haven't matched anyone in years. And lean gently into the freedom of expecting absolutely nothing from people who haven't shown you that they're most comfortable giving nothing. In that space, reciprocity isn't gone. It's just waiting for the people who can meet you. And those people, they're rare, but they're real, and they're worth your energy. Until then, you're allowed to rest, you're allowed to stop over-giving, you're allowed to reclaim your time, your peace, your mental quiet. Reciprocity collapses. You don't have to.